Hi, my name is Emiko. Today, I would like to talk about Gion Matsuri, one of the most famous festivals in Japan. And I'll also introduce how community-based sustainable tourism program can help preserve its cultural meaning, and while also addressing current challenges caused by mass tourism. So, first, the main tourism asset of this project is Gion Matsuri itself, not just as a festival, but as a form of living cultural heritage. Gion Matsuri has a history of over 1,000 years and is organized by local neighborhood communities rather than by the Japanese government. And there is also Yamaboko serving as sacred ceremonial floats that carry religious symbols and represent spiritual protections for the community. Its rituals, music, and preparation processes are all based on cultural knowledge passed down through generations. And this means the true value of Gion Matsuri lies not in its scale of popularity, but it's also in the people and the culture knowledge that sustain it. Gion Matsuri takes place in central Kyoto, mainly with the residential neighborhoods rather than in a closed festival venue. And this is because the festival originated as a religious ritual based on the Shinto beliefs, instead to protect the city from epidemics and disasters. The Yamaboko and related rituals are considered sacred, and their preparation is closely tied to everyday community life. And as a result, Gion Matsuri is not separated from daily life. It exists within it, which makes cultural preservation especially important. Behind the large-scale festival, Gion Matsuri is sustained by local community members who have prepared and managed the event for generations. Cultural knowledge, such as ritual procedures and float preparation, is passed down informally through observation and participation. For many residents, taking part of the festival is considered a responsibility to the community rather than a performance for the visitors. And this human connection is what gives Gion Matsuri its cultural depth. And despite its long history, Gion Matsuri currently faces several challenges. From a cultural perspective, many of the community members who hold ritual knowledge and the skills are aging, while fewer younger successors are able to take over the roles. At the same time, mass tourism has increased crowd pressure during the festival, and many visitors focus mainly on taking photos rather than really understanding the cultural meaning. And this grows the distance between locals and visitors. These issues place both cultural continuity and community life at a risk. Ideally, Gion Matsuri should continue as a living cultural practice that is actively passed down to future generations. And in this future, cultural knowledge is not concentrated just among a small group of locals, but supported by a wider network of young people and cultural learners. Tourists are no longer just spectators, but respectful participants who understand the meaning behind the festival and know how to appreciate it. And through this shift, tourism becomes a tool that supports cultural preservation rather than threatening it. And here is a gap analysis that highlights a structural problem rather than isolated issues. At the moment, Gion Matsuri relies on a small number of cultural bearers, while tourism mainly encourages passive consumption, which increases pressure on local communities without strengthening cultural continuity. And in contrast, the ideal future requires a shift toward active cultural participation, where new supporters are gradually trained and the benefits of tourism flow back to the community. And these gaps show that the challenge is not tourism itself, but how tourism is designed and managed. And to address this gap, I propose a sustainable tourism program called the Living Gion Matsuri Experience. Rather than focusing on large crowds or one-time sightseeing, this program is designed as a learning journey that combines cultural understanding and guided participation. And this program targets the younger generations and culturally interested visitors. Yes, and we aim for this target as they are the most likely ones to join us on this experience. And this program will take place in June and July, and each little tour will be a half or 1 day tour. And now it begins with a short pre-tour activity that introduces the beliefs and cultural meaning behind the festival. And this will follow by workshop. During the workshop, participants take part in guided hands-on activities such as assembling small-scale Yamaboko components or like practicing traditional rope tying techniques using the Yamaboko float preparation while learning their cultural and symbolic meanings. This is followed by small group guided exploration during the festival. This will allow young participants to enjoy the interactive experience while respecting community roles and supporting cultural preservation. And by the end of the tour, there will be a program-only photo spots and souvenirs provided to the participants, which hopefully will attract more younger generations to participate and post more content online so we can attract even more participants to the event. And this table shows how the program supports the community step by step. First, the cultural knowledge of local elders and festival practitioners is used as an input. This knowledge is transformed into guided cultural workshops and storytelling sessions, which result in transmission of Gion Matsuri's intangible cultural knowledge to the new learners. Second, community spaces and neighborhood networks are used as inputs to allow small group participation and pre-festival preparation activities. And this will help strengthen community cohesion while maintaining cultural continuity, I believe. Next is the participation fees from tourists, and this will be directed toward local neighborhood associations, creating sustainable funding that can be reinvested back to cultural preservation activities. And finally, local guidance and participation rules. This will shape the control group sizes and guided movement, which will help reduce distribution to residents and support smooth festival operations. This program also contributes to several SDGs. First, it supports SDG 4, quality education, by providing experimental cultural learning outside formal classrooms, helping participants understand the beliefs and meanings behind Gion Matsuri. And second, it aligns with SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, by creating fair income opportunities for local cultural practitioners and reinvesting tourism revenue into community-based preservation. And last and most importantly, it contributes to SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, by protecting intangible cultural heritage and strengthening the long-term sustainability of local communities in Kyoto. So, to conclude, Gion Matsuri's value lies on people, not in crowds, and cultural preservation must come before tourism growth, because once the community and its knowledge are lost, the festival itself cannot even be sustained. And this project shows that sustainable tourism can act as a bridge between visitors and local communities. And ultimately, preserving Gion Matsuri means preserving the community that sustains it. Thank you.